Yes, indeed. All right, this next match is going to be an exciting one for sure.
It's going to be a doozy. We're jumping right into it. Waxdonkeys versus Potwasher. What names?
Waxdonkeys.
Waxdonkeys. I like it.
Time for me to prove myself.
Havencraft is
The
a
first
demo.
Havencraft and the first Forestcraft that we've seen all day. This is neat. I was not expecting this.
Now, Havencraft is kind of interesting. Heavenly Aegis is a big, most talked about card on the side of Havencraft, alongside Test of Strength to kind of give you that invulnerable situation there. And oh man, speaking of the
out
devil,
his hand right there.
Yep, Heavenly Aegis just got picked up. In general, it feels like Havencraft is doing okay in many matchups, but not looking super outstanding. The only case where that may be true, where it can really excel beyond kind of a fairly even matchup, seems to be Dragoncraft. Conceptually, it makes sense, right? Late game, Dragoncraft pushes late game. If you have the Heavenly Aegis drop and have it be invulnerable, it almost doesn't matter how big and scary your creatures are, because that Heavenly Aegis will just repeatedly throw itself into those creatures, not lose any health.
Not to mention the combination of Heavenly Aegis with Test of Strength, the amulet that forces you to attack a follower as long as it's on your side of the board.
So I feel like that's one of the big things about Havencraft that we have to watch out for. Obviously, it's going to take a while for these kinds of things to settle, and I think both on the side of Dragoncraft decks, maybe they're going to get more efficient, but Heavenly Aegis decks, maybe they're going to get more efficient as well. But that seems to make sense in my mind. Forestcraft again, Aaron and Lily are super kind of popular in these few games.
Definitely. We wonder if a Roach combo is going to be coming up in the following turns. He doesn't have any 0-drops. He's got Fina in his hand. That's going to be a pretty stellar evolve coming out from here. Elfgirl Liza going to be able to protect the fairies on his side of the board, but those fairies trading into Temple Guardian, they're going to do 0 damage. Temple Guardian's ability is it reduces all damage it takes on the opponent's side of the turn by 1. So 3 damage is going to be able to barely clean off that Temple Guardian, and Fairy's going to be able to go for face, protecting themselves from spells. And that's tempo in favor of Potwasher. Really great play. We'll see what Waxdonkeys has got to cover it.
Potwasher. They're very focused on kind of, waxing to make things shiny, pot washing to make pots shiny. Maybe there's some way they could work together to wash the donkey and wax the pot.
Wax the donkey and wash the pot.
Right?
This evolve from
Priest of the Cudgel with Evolve.
Yep.
It's a very popular method of removal, so to speak. Nothing Liza can do to kind of save the poor little fairies from that.
Poor little fairies. Very formidable card. There's Silverbolt coming in hand. Fiend Evolve going to give him a 0-drop with the Goblin Mage.
I feel like we haven't seen all day today, we haven't even seen an 8 play point White Wolf that was able to trade. That's just not been a thing, which, I mean, players are very good at playing around it, I feel like. They know that come turn 8, hey, it's real dangerous to have a 4-attack follower on the board, as well as just kind of putting pressure on the Forestcraft player to disallow them to put themselves in that situation.
I wonder if that was the skill of the opposing players knowing that a White Wolf could be coming out and electing to clear their own board in such a way by trading into the opposing followers to not keep a follower that White Wolf could trade into. That's very possible.
The Judge of Retribution. 5-7. Things are looking a little rough, I think, for the Forestcraft player. Still have Lily, but then you're having to worry about the second card. If you evolve Lily, you can Snowman 1, take out the other, only take 1 damage. Looks like that's a play. The last evolution orb, are you going to spend it, though? He's not.
He's ending his turn right
like
there.
it. I like it.
Yeah.
I do like it.
Tribunal would get rid of the follower, but he's really going to want to set up for Aegis. I think obviously that's his goal. That's the win condition that he's got in his hand. is Aegis.
So he kind of wants to time the Tribunal in a certain way that he can play his Aegis as soon as possible, build himself that space. That timing is very important.
And with a 3 cost, or excuse me, a 3 countdown on Tribunal, playing it on turn 6 would have been ideal if it could have popped by the time turn 9 rolls around.
A lot of cards in hand here for Potwasher. Ancient Elf, strong pick, especially when you have Fairies and Elf Child and all these cards that you can just use to buff up the Ancient Elf stats. Roach can also be used to kind of clear away the ward.
Absolutely.
But
2
is he
fairies,
gonna
3 elf
commit that?
childs. That'd be 6 right there if you wanted to get a strong Ancient Elf on his side of the field, but you'd have to spend an Evolve point to clear the orb. And that's still leaving Priest of the Cudgel and the Snowman and the ticking time bomb of Beast Call Aria on the side of Waxdonkeys.
Plays the Aaron, uses the Evolve, and next turn you can play Aaron again, actually, and get that extra Evolve point. Elf Child. Oh, gosh. Well, not too bad. Just means that next turn you can swing your Elf Child into the Cudgel.
He could play...
That sounded real bad. I don't promote cudgeling elf children. Let's not do that.
No, we at NGE do not support the cudgeling of elf children. We do support the playing of tribunals, 2 of them to clear the board, or at least 1 of them. Well, it'd be random. That'd be a total gamble.
Yeah. Pretty good odds, though. 50-50?
50-50. It's the best odds I've had in years.
Oh, Test of Strength.
Test of Strength. Definitely want to get that on the board on the turn before you play Heavenly Aegis, get the most cost efficiency out of it.
Yeah. I like how they set up the Beast Call Aria as well. Eventually you're going to get the Storm out of it. It starts swinging and turning around the momentum here.
Next turn, though, even if Waxdonkeys does summon Heavenly Aegis, he doesn't have an Evolve point. That's crucial. Typically, you see players save their Evolve point to the last second so that you do have some kind of insurance policy when you summon Aegis. Because with Aegis, it's a follower, it's really high cost, strong follower you put on the board, but that turn, you don't have an Evolve point, you can't do anything else. It's almost comparable to Seraph. Seraph, you really have to make sure you have the momentum before you play the 8 cost Amulet. Because you're basically giving your opponent a free turn to do something.
Yes. Which at that point, there's so many play points on the field that could be incredibly effective. There it is. Heavenly Aegis.
But with Test of Strength on the field, that's 1 whole turn where Potwasher has to attack, or can't attack for face. He has to attack Heavenly Aegis.
The big thing, too, is there's a second Heavenly Aegis waiting. And eventually, he's going to be able to throw a bunch of... Oh, he's going to use Silver Bolt! He couldn't do much anything else. Tribunal, he's trying to chew through the ward. He will be able to do so. 10 damage to face here. Then the timing could not have been any better.
Absolutely.
I mean, the Beast Call Aria pop, saved its double Tribunal, took down 2 wards. Heavenly Aegis can swing.
That's a White Wolf in the hand of Potwasher.
But he can't survive another turn. The instant you commit your White Wolf, you're saying, okay, I can't clear any other source here, and he would lose the game.
It's almost like Waxdonkeys has done this before.
We find ourselves in a situation where White Wolf comes too late to the party. And it's just, oh, there's a bounce. He's going to get 6 damage out of this, and evolve. Oh my god, I wasn't even counting! I wasn't even counting math!
No kidding. No way.
I envy you.
Potwasher taking that series 1-0. Arthur is, he does not look very happy. I wasn't counting. That's not something I was paying attention to. Probably should. Neither was Rainy.
I was told in school that I did very poorly because I didn't listen. I didn't like to do my homework. I certainly did not do my counting.
Thankfully, the players have done their homework. What a game.
Oh my god. You know, and the big thing about it is using Ancient Elf to bounce Roach is actually really, really expensive. You would much prefer it to be Nature's Guidance, but it was exactly enough. And guess what? The key point about that match was Crystallia Aaron. extra evolution orb, and he didn't spend it. I mean, there was only a snowman on the field, so I would hope that he wouldn't spend the evolve just to get rid of a snowman. But that was insane. Just that single this new card, Crystalia Aaron. I can't talk about how much it just does so many things. It's a ward, it's got stats, it's a heal, you get evolution orb out of it. There's just so many things that it does.
A free evolution orb. That's the part that's like, really? That's an ability? That seems really strong.
Pretty good. Pretty good. I salute you. So we have a situation where Waxdonkey, I think, has to recoup, figure out what's going on here. We have, by the way, the other round of 8 matches going on right now because we got to see a large amount of the round of 16. We're going to push the round of 8 forward so we can land on the semifinals and
interesting.
Start approaching the end of the tournament. And Potwasher currently is looking real good to
very strong.
Kind of take the cake, so to speak. Taking the cake.
So I guess I kind of answered my own question about how would an old Bahamut deck, with the introduction of a few new cards, how that would stack up against one of the entirely new decks, one of the entirely new strategies, like you were talking about. It's really working well. Forcecraft is still really strong, still very strong.
Yeah. Today we've seen kind of a good amount of different decks and styles. I feel like as we get into the round of 8, and even the semifinals, we'll get a better idea of which have kind of pushed through the field of Dragoncraft and Shadowcraft. I just want to see at the end which classes show up in the finals, because I feel like those are going to be the ones to really look to and see what made them so consistent. We talked about it a few times, but this tournament is probably going to be one of the most difficult tournaments you have.
Because it's so new into the expansion, for sure.
There's Waxdonkeys. His flares, please help. Please. Does anybody know Waxdonkeys? You should check up on him, see if he's okay.
Make sure he's okay, yeah.
Yeah. Please help.
We don't want any of our players conking out in the middle of the tournament.
Oh, there it is, a little soul squasher.
Waxdonkey's electing to stay with his Havencraft deck. It's interesting to see how this is going to stack up against Potwasher's Shadowcraft deck.
We talked about it a little bit, too. Havencraft seems to... I mean, Heavenly Aegis is a great card individually, but really what wins you games in Shadowverse is your deck as a whole. I feel like that's one of the interesting things about the state of Havencraft right now is that you have some great cards on paper in terms of like Heavenly Aegis and even back then Seraph. Put your opponent in a really tough situation. You must have Banish if you want to defeat Seraph. And Heavenly Aegis, you must be able to end the game at a certain point or be able to swing face at a certain point.
Right, and having the right cards in your deck to build up to that climax of a play at the end of the game is what makes the strategy, is what makes something so effective.
I just wonder if Havencraft has enough cards surrounding the Heavenly Aegis to really make it consistent and solid. Because that was a pretty picture-perfect situation for Havencraft. Got the test of strength, got the Heavenly Aegis down.
That was almost picture perfect. You were right. But Forcecraft was able to close the game out.
Yeah. I mean, it's really kind of... Heavenly Aegis doesn't have ward, right? So your only protection really is test of strength, unless you have just like a cheap ward card they could throw in there as well.
Right.
And
of course, Guardian Sun does not work on Heavenly Aegis. It's not affected by other cards' abilities. So you can't get... That would be absolutely ridiculous. Heavenly Aegis with ward. I mean, come on.
Boy. Oh boy. Please. Please help. Now I understand. I feel like now I understand Waxdonkey. It's all coming full circle here.
Prince Catacomb, that would be an amazing cost-efficient play right there. Giving 4 followers summon a skeleton when they die. That's very, very well done. Very good draw there.
Gonna evolve. Push the Prince Catacomb into the ward.
A lot of aggression coming out from Potwasher.
This is exactly what you need to do. Removal on the side of Waxdonkey is kind of strong. I mean, you've got Tribunal, and they've got Themis's, and he played the Blackened Scripture as well. So I think he's feeling slightly comfortable right now.
With an Evolved Temple Defender, you're going to have now, I guess, 3 damage to take it out.
Yeah. It's such an annoying card.
Very annoying.
To be honest, Temple Defender, we need to have a talk. Why do you have to do that?
Why do you have to have such a good ability?
Can't shoot him with the arrow because if it's 1 damage, it's 0 damage.
It becomes 0 damage. That's huge to me. That's the biggest part of the ability. If you do 1 damage to it, it's 0 damage.
Had to trade out. Now there's a bunch of chump guys ready to do their best. And it's not bad. I mean, comparatively, look, it's already down to 7 health. God.
Waxdonkeys is going to have to evolve the...
He has to trade out a bunch of cards right now, but the big thing is there's still the last word effect from Prince Catacomb.
And Little Soul Squasher in the hand of Potwasher. If Waxdonkeys evolves Radiance Angel, that's an easy kill right there with Little Soul Squasher's ability.
Is it Tribunal that's the play? I mean, I don't think there's actually a very good play in Havencraft's hand at all.
It's a lot of weak followers that would not be getting a very cost-efficient play out of Summoning Tribunal. Definitely not.
I think the big thing that hurts is Illyrial that has that last word effect, because that's the one that has 2 damage, right? If you were to kind of mitigate damage, you would want to take down the cards that won't summon another skeleton, because then it'll be Potwasher's turn and he could just still swing. Oh, he banishes
Illyrial.
And that's exactly what he needed to do. I feel like gonna trade with the other 2 damage. Don't proc the last word. All right, 3 damage, 5 damage. Oh, there's not enough. There's not enough shadows. He's gonna try for it. I think he's gonna try to throw cards in. We'll see.
That's gonna be 7 damage right there.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There it is. Easy peasy. Phantom Howl.
Potwasher closing out the series against Waxdonkeys. GG, taking it 2-0, moving on to the semifinals.
Very nicely done. I think that Shadowcraft is certainly kind of having a stronger appearance. I would love, after this week of tournaments, combined with the community tournaments that are going to be happening as well, we go back and look at the stats once again, and maybe add it all up to get a bigger kind of sample size, get a bigger pool, and have a better idea of kind of
what
what's
also
going
would
on.
be interesting is comparing them week to week to see how much has changed.
That's
seeing which decks are gaining more popularity coming in.